Hi there, this is Fixed It. I was in need of some heavy duty racking system for the garage to store some equipment, and I had a look at the stuff in the DIY stores, but it was too lightweight and mainly plastic. So I've opted for this T-Rax heavy duty racking system. It's made from press formed sheet steel, painted blue, and the shelves are made from MDF, medium density fibre board. The manual is interesting. It gives some instructions, but they're not that easy to follow. Just the usual pictures without giving much of a description of what you're supposed to do in order to get the unit together. It certainly gives no indication of the frustrating nightmare to follow. So there are vertical pieces, and there are 4 of them making up the base. There are small struts for the sides and then long struts for the front and back with these tabs on, and basically the tabs go into these holes, and then there's 2 of those, and then there's a connecting piece that basically locks 2 lots together. Here's the bottom that I've already created, and these pieces will go in there and allow you to stack 2 of the racks together. Now it all should be pretty straightforward by all accounts, but it isn't, as these things invariably aren't, and I'll show you why. The first thing to do is to do one side of the bottom, and make sure you put the rubber cups on the bottom parts when you're dealing with it, because if you don't, the sharp corners can cut, and that hurts a little, and it's quite deep. Okay, the reason for doing one side as well is that once you've done one side, you know basically what the other side's going to look like, and you can measure the shelves out. Okay, once you've created one side, you can use that as a template for the other, because there's absolutely nothing worse than constructing a set of shelves only to discover that the shelves are in the wrong place. What happens with these is these tabs go into these grooves. So if I just line these 2 up and press down on them, but already you can see that that's come up, which is not what I wanted. So I'm just going to have to tap it on the back to bend it out. Try again. As you can see, it doesn't quite go together as it says in the instructions, which is a real nuisance. Okay, so we've seen firsthand what the problem is. Bending that back the other way will help, but you don't want to bend it too far, because otherwise it won't come out the other side. So what you need to do is to get a screwdriver and push it in there and just bend that piece of metal up. You need to do that for each of the slots where the shelves are going to go. Okay then, let's have... You also need to bend out the cross member tongs with a pair of pliers so that the 2 line up together and slot together. Okay, having checked that we're on the first rung, push those 2 together. Push those 2 together and then give them a tap with the hammer until they start to go in. And you can see that they're beginning to go through. Now you'd hope now if I continue to keep hitting that, then it would go all the way and all the way down. But what you have to do is to turn it over and actually have a look at the other side, because you want to make sure that goes all the way through to the end. Like that. But the problem I have is that isn't going to go in. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll do the other side. Press these two in and together. As you can see, that one was a lot easier. And now if I turn them around, you'll see that they're beginning to go in quite nicely, so I'll hammer them down. That one's now all the way in. Now this one is a problem, because as you can see, what's happened is it hasn't gone straight down the way it should have done, but has in fact gone over the lip, which is no use at all. So what you have to do is to tap that back. Okay, so you can see it, but obviously if I tap it down again, it's just going to miss. So what you do is you take your screwdriver and you insert that into the hole and then just push against. So what it does is it bevels out. It bevels out the metal. Okay, and now as I tap that down, it goes in place. And I'm sad to say that that's a problem you're going to have all the way through the construction of this. Is you're going to have to be bending some of these out on this side. You're going to have to be bending some of them out on this side, and also you're going to be needing to ensure that there's a slight transition on these, because otherwise they'll miss. So what I imagined was going to be a 15-20 minute job can end up taking over an hour, and sometimes even more, and you can also end up with injuries. So I'm doing the base level on this, and both sides and both ends have done exactly the same thing, which is at least one of them has forced its way out. This is a bonkers design. You know, it's supposed to be quick construction, but the lack of an extended groove there makes it really difficult. I'll have to knock each one of these out in order to bend it with a screwdriver in order to get it in there. The thing is that I had to let it go together like this in order to get the rigidity I need in order to start constructing it, but you're going forward 2 paces and then going back for another couple of paces. I'm going to write to the manufacturer with a few suggestions, or at least a link to the video, so they can see what needs to be done, or produce a piece of metal that comes with the kit in order to bend out those grooves. So these shelves are not as simple to put together, and what you'll need is you'll need a hammer, preferably one with a rubber mallet end, a thin large screwdriver to go into the gaps, and also a pair of pliers to be able to bend things. And as I say, the best thing to do is to put the caps on, because if you don't, you'll end up digging a hole in your hand. I hope you liked the video and you subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Check out my money saving tips